Same with like a car commercial. You see somebody driving
Just
like
random.
the
Yeah.
newest Land Rover and they're like driving over rocks and like ripping through the desert and you're like, that doesn't look like my commute.
Right.
Like what the
That doesn't look like my daily commute.
most of the stuff we talk about though is just like
Dude,
business ideas and
but always fire. Always, dude, I literally I that's the reason I actually wake up in the morning is to have those conversations. To go to the studio, sit there for hours and just talk about shit. I love
I'm glad I make you wake up in the morning just so you can talk to me about
that.
ideas.
Yeah, that's what does it actually.
I get it though. Like I feel that way all the time. I'm like, you're always wanting to come up with new stuff because I think if you're just like sitting there and stagnant, like it's boring, it's
Yeah,
mundane.
dude,
Uh-uh.
it's such a creative outlet and like I love coming up with new ideas. But then like when like I think I sometimes have good ideas. When you come up with ideas, I'm like, dude, this is so friggin' good. Like how is this not being made yet? And
I
it
don't
just
know.
gets
You've
me
had
so
some good
fired up.
ones. Dude, the
Sometimes I'll come
sign
out with some
language
fire.
one?
Dude,
The
that was
sign
sick.
language
That was
one,
sick.
but they have it, right? So it's
Yeah,
like
I think so.
automatic sign language while somebody's speaking.
Yeah.
That was good.
I was pumped on that for a minute.
I mean, most of them we come up with other people have done them.
I know. That's what's so hard. Once you start looking into it, you're like, damn it.
I think you just have to like try and change somebody else's idea that's already out there. Like you coming up with like
Right.
something that's never been done before. I don't know if that's like the same in like video. Like most people that try a new whatever, it's like a camera trick or something, they got it from somewhere.
Mhm.
So I think it's hard to come up with like an idea that's never been heard.
Yeah, it's definitely tough. But
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's fun because it just like makes you think more about like even if you're talking about ideas, you start to just like think about other things in like the film world and
where you
creative
can use that
outputs.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, my brain just starts firing off when like we come up with ideas. I'm like, what could we do this for? How could we use this?
I
Yeah, I
love
get
it.
all fired up.
I love it. One of the things that I think is interesting to talk about, and I thought like I was thinking about this the other day, like what camera have I loved over time? Like obviously like the nice cameras are fun to work with and like the quality is great, but like what camera did I love the most out of like my career so far? And I think it's going to be the Panasonic GH2.
Yep. That
I
was a crowd
mean,
favorite.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I know like some people didn't like the color and that
Yeah.
kind of thing,
I
but
never got into that one. A big part of it was the color for me. Um,
yeah, I
but
mean, it had like it's almost like out of the box it kind of had like a film feel
yeah.
and it fit in with a lot of different projects and it was tiny.
Yep. I mean, dude, so many people used that camera when it came out for video, like just crushing it.
Yeah, and then they took a break like and then they came out with the I think it's like SL1 or something that people are using now. It's like a full frame and now they have a different brand. I think it's Luminix or something is like off their Panasonic brand.
Yeah.
People still use it though. I've
Yeah.
never gone back to that brand, but I mean, I've seen some good stuff come out of it.
I did for a minute. I went with the what did I have there?
Oh
The
yeah,
Panasonic
DV.
DV 100 or something like that.
Yeah, it was like it looked like a mini
DVX.
DV camera.
Yeah,
It was
yeah. And
sick.
it was cool. It was I mean, it had friggin' like night vision on it, which which was like kind of cool, but when are we going to use it? But it was good. It was just the color for me. The color in that camera just wasn't it just wasn't I hated it.
I love the build though. Like it's so nice to have a camera like that where you like take it out and you put it on a tripod and
Yeah.
it's all one piece. Like
Oh, it
that
was
camcorder feel.
sick. Yeah.
Yeah,
It,
I wonder if more brands will go that direction. Like somehow build it's like the Ronin 4D.
yeah.
Like I think the Ronin 4D has a built-in lens. Maybe you can switch them out, but like it's all one thing.
Dude, which is crazy. I didn't think that was like that would catch on. A lot of people love that camera.
I've seen good things with it. I've never
Yeah.
used it.
Yeah,
But
it's just a massive, like, I don't know,
have
it
you
just
ever
seems
used it?
crazy. No, no,
We should
never.
we should like rent one sometime and film with
Yeah,
it because it
yeah,
looks pretty cool. I think it's like it's specific to like what you're filming,
Right.
probably.
That's what sucks about cameras is, like, there's not one good camera. It's all it just depends on what you're filming. Like, my camera, when we're talking about older cameras, my favorite camera would be the 7D or the 7D Mark II.
Good cam.
That was my favorite camera to this day. I mean, now I have the R3, which is like the big body, frames per the fast frames per second, but definitely the 7D or the 7D Mark II was fire back in the day.
Yeah. Those, the 5Ds, the 5D
Yeah,
Mark IIs. I mean, they still hold up, and I'm sure there's people still making films with them.
dude, that's what's funny. Yeah, they still hold up, and what? It's probably 20 years old now at this point.
Yeah. But it was I think having less options was better back then
Hmm.
because it's like, all right, this is the only camera you can
Got to make it
use.
work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And now it's like there's so many different options that you kind of get bogged down, like buying camera gear and shit. And then all of a sudden the next thing comes out and you want to chase that because, oh, everybody wants to use it.
yep,
Like,
dude. It's so funny. Like, I have so much gear that I do not use anymore, and it's even come down to the point where I like to go handheld. I like to go as small as possible and like minimal as possible now. Back in the day, I loved rigging my camera out and seeing all the shit I could
yeah,
put on it. But now I'm like, I don't want to go gimbal. I want to go handheld. I want to go, the most versatile lens I can put on and just
right.
like be as small as possible. And like now all the gear that I have is just, sitting in my closet and collecting dust. But yeah, I think the longer you're in the game, I think you just go simpler because you I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. And it's like, what do you do with all those extra pieces? Like, I have
Hmm.
so many pieces to things.
Yeah.
And like, there needs to be like, maybe that's a business idea. You need to figure out, like, where do all these pieces go when people are
Dude, it's
done with them?
crazy.
Like, I
Yeah.
have connections to like A7Ss. I don't even have any A7Ss anymore. Like,
Well, that's the bad thing when you keep, like, cages and stuff like that, if you sold the
what
camera and don't have the camera anymore, that's the yeah, then it's just sitting there doing
what do
nothing.
you what do you do? Like, become like a sculptor and like make like metal sculptures out of pieces from
Yeah.
cameras? Like, what do you like? I don't know what you do with them. Like, it sucks to throw stuff away.
Yeah, and
Like,
even
you're
if you
not
try to
gonna.
sell it, maybe the camera's, like, 5 or 6 years old, who's gonna buy it at this point?
I guess you could like try and give it away or like
Yeah.
donate it, but it's kind of weird to donate just like parts of cameras. Somebody needs to figure out a way to like reuse camera pieces or like I don't know. Maybe there's a way that you can use cameras, like old cameras can become something because otherwise we're just using all this tech and then
Dude,
throwing it away.
I say we start giving it away to the followers here.
Oh yeah, we'll give them.
You know what I mean? Just start
Yeah, like our 30 followers. Hey, I'll send you some screws and like a cage.
they don't even have the camera for it.
Sickest podcast gift ever. We're just gonna get just
Be so tight.
send your email in the comments on YouTube. We'll start sending you
That's
just
right.
pieces to cameras.
I'm sure someone would do something crazy with it though. That'd be
It's
sick.
true. I mean, there's somebody out there using some of those cameras still. Like the
Right.
A7S is a great camera. Probably still using it. GH2, people probably still using it.
That'd be wild if I mean, not wild,
7D,
but yeah.
this
I
people are
I've
probably using it.
what's funny actually? I think my buddy said he has a couple cameras, but then he goes, I'm gonna shoot my like, C cam on a 7D." I was like, "Dude, you still have that?" I think I sold it to him. It's like, "You
You're
still
like,
have that
Still
camera?"
turns on."
I was like, "Holy shit."
I mean,
But 1080, it's still good.
yeah. You still have a C100, right?
Shooting on it right now.
Yeah. So I mean, that's 1080,
Dude,
right?
it's 1080, it's a 4K sensor and then spits out in 1080. This camera image is beautiful. I love it. I
Dude,
only use it for my podcast now, like, I don't bring it anywhere, but I love the image that comes out of this camera.
the camera was unreal when it came out, and it's still
Yep.
like I mean, even the C300 that I have, like, should get used more because it's such a good dock style camera. The,
Yeah.
like, C100, C300 has all the right ports in it. It's just like a weird form factor. It's like almost a box, but has
Yep.
all these weird pieces that you have to add to it.
That's the hard part. Yeah, you gotta rig that thing out for sure.
But
Um,
it still holds its own.
oh, absolutely. I think it sucks that it's not getting used as much as it is for how expensive it is, you know?
Well, and that's what happens. Like, I bought the C300. I use it Like we shoot with it for events and like
Yeah.
some interviews, but it doesn't get used as much as it should. But I think that's the problem, or like that goes back to what you were saying, where it's like you can't use one camera for everything necessarily when you get to a certain tier. Like I
Yeah.
think when you're just starting out, you could use one camera for everything. You could shoot stills, video, and you can make some good stuff. But once you get to a point where it needs to be like ease of use and like per project, depending on who's editing and what you're looking at, I think you have to use a specific camera.
Yeah. Dude, the R1 that just came out,
When?
it's the big brother or something to the R3 for
What
Canon.
what does that one do? Shoot like while you
It
take it out
shoots
of the bag?
dude,
Just like
yeah, we were talking about that.
like
Yeah.
artist shoots the
Dude,
image,
it
you
like
just think
it
about it. It's like AI. It's like
you just put it back in your bag, he's like, "I'm good, I got it, got the shot."
you just like show up somewhere and you're like, "No, I already got it. We're good." They're like, "You
But
never
no,
even took a camera out."
that's literally what it does. It does like 30 seconds or something before you hit the shutter,
Jesus.
and it already had captured clips. But it does, when you're shooting video, you can take photos at the same time, which I think is very
Mm.
cool. Maybe it's for specific things. Like for me, for wildlife, it would be perfect because I'm always carrying 2 cameras and I'm like, I wanna shoot photos, but I gotta get the video and vice versa. But if I could get one that does both, that's awesome. Like, at the same time,
How does
it's
it
unbelievable.
does it shoot to different cards or does it just shoot everything to one card at the same time?
I don't know. I would think it would shoot to different cards because shooting to one, that would be a lot of information going to one card.
I wonder, so it can shoot 30 frames per second.
Yeah, it's fast.
So it's
Yeah.
probably doing some sort of processing where it's shooting the video almost as stills, but it still probably makes it so like, so say you're shooting video, you'd want to be like 180-degree shutter angle.
Right.
But I bet when you're shooting stills and video, you want to be
I
higher than
guess
that.
that's true, right. How do you
That's what it
change
is.
your yeah.
It would be like, so like if we shot on the red, because people used to do this with the red, you could shoot the Raptor at a higher, you like when you got the video though, it would just be like very fluid, no motion blur, which is fine. But if you were
Yeah.
shooting specifically to get both, I bet that's how you have to do it. Because
Mhm.
otherwise, even if you're shooting an animal that's like running and you're shooting at whatever 148th, it's going to be blurry. All the
Right.
photos, it will take photos.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that's part of it or if it does it for you. If it's like, okay, you need to be at this certain
It
shutter
just
angle.
no dude, yeah.
It probably does to help with like that whole mode. Probably like puts it in a mode, makes it like whatever shutter angle it needs to be.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
That's
dude, going to cameras now, this is my new favorite camera.
this thing's sick. We
Dude,
just used it.
so sick.
We brought it on our trip. We went on a cruise, not for fun, but with a client. It was fun though. But
It
we
was
brought
awesome.
that camera.
Dude, I couldn't this is it's just it's so amazing. For I mean, it's, $800 or with, like, the whole everything with it. But it starts up within 2 seconds. You can do so much with it. The audio, I mean, the mic, the wireless mic is pretty cool, like the magnet too, so you can hide it, put it in your shirt. I mean, it's just so useful for $800. I mean, you can get it cheaper too, but there's just I don't know, it's just awesome. It's simple. There's a gimbal on it. Like it's awesome. I love this
Yeah.
camera.
It does make you think like you get something like that and then maybe you don't need all these other pieces is what, like going back to what you said, you
Yeah.
need to like figure out like less is more. And like
Yeah.
it's like the glasses too, the
Don't play with
Ray-Ban
me.
ones.
Don't
Dude,
play with me.
kids doing box openings on
Right.
here, like gear reviews over here.
Dude.
I'm gonna mention something else. You're gonna be like, don't even.
Dude,
Those are sick.
these things are the update that they just had, for the Meta AI glasses is incredible. I
I
mean,
haven't updated mine yet.
dude, you can look at like, say you're looking at a menu in Spanish, you can tell it to read it to you in English, and it
No.
will read it back to you. Not only that, you can talk to somebody in Spanish. Somebody can talk to you in Spanish. It'll live translate in your ear what they're saying,
No.
and then you can respond.
But you respond in English and then it does
You talk, right,
they
maybe they don't understand what you're saying.
it's basically an American-made product where you don't have to learn languages anymore. Like, that's
I didn't
literally
even
what
think
it
about that.
you're like, and then you just hear what they say, and then you say it back in English, and they have no idea what you said. You
But
understand everything they said, though.
right, but dude, it's how amazing is that?
It's amazing.
You can take a picture of food that's on the counter or your refrigerator and say, "Make me some what can I make from this?" And it will give you options to make something.
I
It's
think
incredible.
I think and that's where, like, all this AI stuff comes in that's, like it's actually like AR to actual reality, and it's helping further humanity a little bit. I guess it's taking away some of the learnings, like the language, but it maybe will make us, like, have more accessibility to different, like, people and different cultures, so,
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
they'll start putting it into phones
Mhm.
more so that you don't need to get a pair of glasses too.
But that's the thing, like, dude, that tech in something so small,
Crazy.
it's unbelievable. I mean, I remember when, glasses like this came out and they were, the Google ones, they were big, bulky, and, like, you could just tell that they were not these are, like, normal
Yeah.
glasses. You can't really tell that they're, have a camera in it, you can barely see it. So, it's unbelievable what they can squeeze into, like, a little piece of tech.
And they're like, the quality's great. I
Yeah, 12
mean,
megapixels.
it's amazing. I had them on for 2 of our shoots recently because 'cause I'm doing BTS with them,
Yes.
which hopefully sometime I'll get to edit and put out. It's
Dude,
coming.
that's what I was gonna talk about, is, like, these are great for especially for, like, video production. If you're, like, a one-on-one, like, company too, like, you're one guy shooting,
Yeah.
to have these on and get some BTS and then post it on the
Amazing.
gram or something, it's so easy.
Amazing.
Yeah,
And it's I think it's I mean, it's not a need, but if you
right.
need to create BTS and you're, like, fumbling to grab your phone and you're, like, filming with your camera, it's so easy to just press down. It starts recording. You almost forget.
Yeah.
And also people don't feel like it's as intrusive. So, like, because if you're filming with your phone and you're filming an interview, it might make people feel, like, off a little bit because they see your phone too, and they're like, "Oh, I better say
Mhm.
something good during this, like, BTS shot." But then you have this constant thing just running, and you can show, like, camera angles, you can show, like, first person. It's
Yeah.
pretty sweet.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they're awesome. I love it.
Yeah, I think we'll end up moving more towards this type of, like, glasses and
Mhm.
less phones. I think eventually it's gonna be like that.
I bet, yeah. Yeah, you'll just be able to tell your glasses, like, what you want, or, call this person and do this. You're right. 'Cause they
Yeah,
already have the watches you can the why you can call the service
yep,
with the watches with the service. You don't need your phone. I
right.
bet they'll put them in glasses.
So I think they're working on it. I saw some AI agent stuff. So, like, that's the big talk right now is AI in everything. And, like, AI agents are being developed now, which is like a chat GPT, but for specific models. So, like, you would have these glasses, and since it's just a tech update, they could
Right.
probably do it without having to get the new product. And what it would do is give you an agent. So you would have this, like, AI that would be part of your glasses, and it would learn certain things about you. You'd, like, teach it your schedule, and then you could be like you could schedule things like say your wife or your girlfriend calls up and says, "Hey, I want to make an appointment to go out to dinner at whatever reservation at this place." And you say, "Okay." And then you just tell your AI agent, like, "We're looking for a reservation this weekend. It's got to be between these two times. We're looking for this type of restaurant in Portland, Maine. Can you tell
Can
me
you
what's
find
available?"
something?
Yeah,
Dude, and let me tell you, owning a restaurant and having Google call you and set up by their AI chatbot or whatever it is, it's actually pretty amazing. Works great. It's a
right.
easy, like, "Oh, what's the number? What's how many people? What time?" Boom, and you're done.
It's easy.
And it's like Google has it down. When you respond, Google understands what you're saying, and it's so simple.
I think that's the future is, like,
Mhm.
being able to take some of those. It's not like it's taking away from, like, things that were doing that are adding value to our life. It's like taking away those things like, oh, I'm supposed to get an oil change and
Right,
I
right, right.
keep putting it off because I just don't want to call.
Yep,
You could be like, hey, set me up an oil change. I only have Tuesdays from 4 to 6 available. Find the nearest Tuesday, the best location close to me, and maybe give me a couple different prices. And it will repeat that all to you and be like, I found 3 places. This one's 250. This one's $100. This one has 3 stars. This one has 5 stars. Like I saw somebody working on this.
that's crazy. You know what the difference between me and you is? I would have said, "Let me get an oil change on Tuesday at 3 p.m." But my prompts suck. Your prompts, like, it actually understands what you're trying to do.
But
I just
that's
listening to you, I'm like, "I suck, dude." Like, what the hell?
dude, you don't suck. You just have to
Dude,
spend more time doing it. Like
I just it's awesome.
that's I mean, that's where I've spent most of my time besides like film is just like tech. Like I love tech. I love learning about it. I spend a lot of time with AI, ChatGPT, because I think it's important for us to learn as much as we can now
Yeah,
because it's
definitely.
going to be a part of everything. And if you wait, it will be able to help you more. Like right now, it's kind of like you give it what you know, and like hopefully it comes back out. But I mean, I was doing some stuff where like you could make a document, like a Google Doc, and basically have it help you populate it or Google Sheets. And you could basically say, hey, I need to pull content on this type of stuff. Can you pull it from these websites? I need the most relevant thing that makes sense to this. Pull me samples, and it pulls you stuff. And then you can put it in the Google Sheet, and like it helps you organize research, which is
Yeah,
pretty
yeah,
cool.
much faster. Have you looked into those chat bots that you can create for, like, yourself?
I haven't tried to do one, but I know that people are using them for like businesses.
Yeah.
You could probably use it for a restaurant where it's like, hey, every Wednesday we need to order X, and like you basically have it order things like, so then you're not like, oh shit, I forgot to
Oh
order.
my dude, our chef forgets all the time. Oh my god.
Right?
I wonder if I
Yeah,
could create a
you
chat bot to do this.
100%. I
That's what
don't
I'll be
know
doing tonight.
how easy it is right now, but like I think
I was
that's
looking it up. It's not terribly crazy. It's
yeah.
doable for people who don't, there's people walk you through it. It's pretty not simple, but not too hard. But
I think somebody else was talking about this I think in the AI space, might have been OpenAI or somebody else, but they were like, we will in the next 10 years or less see a one person $1 billion company,
oh yeah.
and it will all be run by AI bots. So basically, like right now, and it's not a bad thing. I don't think it allows people to do certain commerce quicker. Like you could basically
Yeah.
do a whole drop shipping company with product and never touch the product, never do the support. Like you
Isn't that
basically,
crazy?
yeah, it's amazing.
Like, you really don't even need to lift a finger besides your keystrokes when you're creating the bot, and then it will do everything for you.
Yeah, and you still have the ideas, you still have
Mhm.
the creativity and the product knowledge, so that's helpful. I'm sure at some point it'll be like you could just deploy a company without ever doing much but being like, I want to start a lasagna company. And just like it makes the dopest lasagna and like sends it out to people. I don't
That'd be
know. Like
so tight.
it's just it will get to a point where it's, like, too much, I think, and, like, people will be, like, sick of it. Like, I don't think it will take over storytelling. Like, it's just not a thing. It can't have experiences.
Well, I don't think it'll be able to do storytelling because it doesn't have the experiences, it won't be able to well, I don't know because it can kind of mimic what another great movie or something was and kind of create it out off of that.
Yeah, I can write like people too. So, like, I'll find really good writers that I like and directors, and I'll look at their stuff, and you can teach ChatGPT to write similar tones
Yeah,
as people. So like if you want to write like in a funny tone, like say you took like a I don't know, like a Chris Rock, you could like take his comedy tone and like write some of your content like that.
yeah.
Like you could just have this feeling because it can look up this person, it looks up all the things that they've done
Dude, within seconds.
seconds.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah. I think if you do market research and you're listening to this, you might want to find a new job. I don't know. I'm just speculating, but like I think research stuff besides like hands-on, like we need to be in the room with people to understand like maybe like behavior or mental type stuff. Like I don't think that could be changed much. Like I think people have to be there to like
I
really be with people.
Dude, there's AI therapists right now. There's
How's
AI
that?
friends. Like, there's I I think it'll
AI friends make sense. Therapists, I don't know. Like
I
I
mean, maybe, but
guess
there's AI doctor, you could I forget what the website's called, but
I
there's
don't
the
think I
doctor
would
thing.
trust the AI
Well,
doctor. I'd be like,
but he
you should go cut out your spleen right now.
but here's the thing, when you say like, "Oh, instead of running to like the emergency room," or
Right.
I mean, maybe not the emergency room, but if you're sick or you have something, a rash, instead of going there and then now you get hit with a little bill,
True.
you could type in like, "Hey, I have this rash. It's so big, and it happened when I did this," and then it will spit out. It'd be like, "That's just this. That's just poison ivy. Just drink water and rest or whatever." You know what I mean? But
Yeah. It's
instead of
but
going
there's
to
a
the
gray
doctor,
area. It's like
of course,
I think if yeah, I think it's good to try that type of stuff if you feel it's not a life-threatening thing. Like
right?
it's like, I don't know what this is." But if it like continues for weeks, you should probably like the AI says it's all good. I'm just gonna drink water
Yes,
and lay on
this
the
is all
couch.
good.
It's getting worse, AI. You're good. Just take a couple showers and like lay in your bed and you'll be fine. Next
The
thing
good
you
thing.
know, people are like trying to sue AI.
Oh, I know. Yeah, how? The thing that I like about it though is there's no like it's going to give you the answer regardless. Whatever it thinks is the best answer. It's not going to sit there and like, "Oh, I don't want to make this person feel bad, so maybe I'll, tiptoe around the answer." It's like, this is what it could be. This is what it is, or, this is what it might be.
True.
And it'll give you a bunch of different facts or a bunch of different things. It's not going to like care about your feelings or care about anything else. It's going to just give you the answer. I don't
Yeah.
know. I think that's more important.
Yeah. And I think for a lot of stuff it's important because you you're not really getting an opinion based answer. Like you're getting
Right.
like hopefully like research that it's pulling from. I mean, it is only currently pulling from online sources.
Yeah.
It's starting they're starting to build it to learn more too. Like if you work with ChatGPT or one of these models a lot, you can actually get it to learn more about you, which I just found out like you could feed it as much as you want. Like you could feed it anything from like all of the budgeting that you do currently in your life and like where maybe you should cut down spending and how you could save to buy the car that you've been trying to buy or like buy the new whatever home or camera. It's like it could set those things up for you. Like, hey, I noticed you're like buying 10 coffees a week. Like, here's one way. Like, even though you
Dude,
know that, but
I
like it can help build a plan. Like, if you stop buying 10 coffees a week, you could buy that camera in whatever, 80
dude,
days.
what a good business that would be to come up with, like, a bot like that. That's amazing because everybody is in some sort of debt or, wants to get out of debt or wants to spend less money. I Dude, that's a good one.
I think they
That's
have
a great
stuff
one.
like that. I know ChatGPT will do it right now. Like, you just like, you're being very trusting. Like,
Mhm.
if you open up all your accounts, your finances and stuff, you're like, that feels like you're like, if there's a
Feels
hacker out
sketchy.
there, you should come visit my chat GPT because
But, dude,
all my
I
shit's in there.
I bet in 10 years, it'll be like that. You
Oh
you
yeah.
you will just say to your glasses or something, "Hey, I wanna buy this," whatever, and it'll be hooked up to your bank account, all this stuff. I mean, dude, that's amazing.
Yeah, I think it could help with a lot of that. It could help with
Mhm.
budgeting. It could help with saving. Like, hey, I want to retire when I'm 60.
Right, here's the
What does that
plan.
what does that look like? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, they do have financial advisors, but and I'm not trying to say that everybody's losing their job, but
Dude,
I
that's
think
I love that one.
I think everybody will keep their job in these spaces, but you'll help be like a prompting guide to these things too. Like you could still be a financial advisor, but maybe a lot of your like systems are now AI. So you're like, hey, like
Right, right.
you meet
And
with the people and you still talk to them and you're like, yeah, let's put you in the system and let's figure this out. Like we have an automated program.
right. I mean, it's dude, it's with everything. People don't understand how to do something. So, like, when people are like, "Oh, AI is gonna ruin the video world or, the design world and stuff like that," it's like, these companies, 1, don't even understand what it is. They don't understand how to use it, so they're still gonna hire these people, which maybe they can use it to help them create whatever, um, but these people are still gonna end up hiring the designers or the financial advisors, people like that, because they still don't understand how to do it.
And
So
it's a
I
trust
think
thing.
right. I think I don't think people are gonna really lose jobs over this. I think
No.
it's just gonna help. It's just a tool where it's gonna help people be more effective.
Right. And I was listening to Gary V talk about marketing and AI, and he was saying like we had farming. Farming, everybody was out there farming like by hand, do dig holes to plant stuff, and then all of a sudden we got tractors.
Yep.
And like nobody really lost their job. People just were more productive. Like, hey,
Right.
now we could plant a ton more food and provide for more people with maybe less people doing that. So now more people could help bring that food somewhere or sell it
Right.
and distribute it. And like, so then you start getting more jobs. So I think the same thing with AI is like now you just get more jobs that are helping distribute or whatever else we need to do. And I think it's just going to like accelerate things. I don't think it's going to make people like completely, it might change their job. I think that's
Yeah.
more what it's going to do.
Dude, I think that's I mean, that's a business to get into now before it, really, really blows up. I mean, it already has, but is AI. Or yeah, I mean, learning AI and figuring it all out.
I know you're talking about learning coding.
I know.
This is your coding. You
This
learn AI. That's how I feel about AI. I think there's kids learning about it right now more than coding. They're learning about AI because I think if you spend the time that you would have spent learning coding to
yeah,
just learn how AI works, it will 10x your like what you're going to do, I think, in the
yeah,
next 10 years. Like if you built a whole thing or if you started building like small things now, you're like you understand it, you could deploy things like the restaurant thing. I mean,
dude,
dude,
that's
like
such a good one.
you make that happen, you can sell that tech to other people. Like even
Well,
if
that and
it's
that's
simple,
exactly it. Yep.
even if it's simple, even if it's local to
Mhm.
here, like you just you've taken one step out of somebody else's day
Yep.
and they I mean, it's like anything else. If you learn a skill, somebody else doesn't have to learn that skill now. They could buy it from you and time is money. So
100%.
even if somebody else is like, "Oh, well, I could go do that." It's like, "Okay, go do that." It's gonna take you
Right.
400 hours or whatever to learn all this shit, or you could just buy this thing for me on a monthly plan, and, I mean, that's how
Solves your
all
problem.
businesses have
Exactly. Yep.
happened.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into that one. That one's a good one.
Yeah, there you go. So
Damn.
don't learn coding, learn AI.
Learn AI. I'm in.
I
Damn.
I think it's important. I think everybody should learn a little bit of it,
Yeah. Dude,
even if
it's just like the crypto thing when it's
yeah.
like, everyone should learn crypto or 'cause we're gonna be using it, eventually. But,
Yeah, and
I mean, it's a confusing you understand it. It's a very confusing world.
well, I think it's confusing because people think it's like money and it's not necessarily like, yes, there's money to be made in it, but I think it's almost like it's a system. So, like, they're going to
Yeah.
take away the Swift banking system, which is like the way that we can wire transfer money internationally. So, that whole process is old school, takes forever. Like companies are doing this and there's transaction fees. In the blockchain system, there's still transaction fees, but it's instant. So it's like, hey, I need to pay for this job in London. You just connect to one of these networks, you send the $5,000, it charges you the $2 to send it instead of like 30,
Right.
and you send it, done. They get it in 15 seconds,
Yeah.
not 3 business days.
The only hard part I see with this happening is a lot of people are gonna go broke because I feel like there's gonna be a lot of scammers. People
Mhm.
still like my wife still clicks on random links, and I'm just like, "What are you doing?" You know, you get an email or you get a text, like, don't just click on it. She has no clue.
Yeah, I
So it's
think
like a
that's a
lot of
big
people's
part.
wallets are just gonna be wiped instantly, and there's nothing they're gonna be able to do about it.
And that's the main issue with it, I think, is that it's so open right now, which is it's like the Wild West. Like,
Yeah,
right now, the US government is starting to open it up more to banks. There's more banks joining in, there's more funds joining in, which is great, but they're going to join in on like very minimal pieces because of that. And like
right.
most people from now for the next 10 years who even get into it won't be the owners of it. Like, so somebody who has a fund with Vanguard or Fidelity that wants to get into Bitcoin or crypto will say, "Hey, yeah, I want to put 5% into that." And they'll say, "Okay." And they'll put them into the fund. They don't own the Bitcoin, which people don't understand. Like, if you get into an ETF or a fund, you're in it, like you own whatever that fund owns, but you don't physically own that Bitcoin. Like, so the only way you can own any of the crypto is if you have a wallet yourself. So
Yeah,
like if you buy into other people's wallets basically, which is what a fund is, you don't physically own that asset. You just own interest in that asset. So it's useful, and I think it's safer because you're not going to click on a link. Fidelity is monitoring that, so you're just like, I'm in it for the long run. It's like gold, it's like silver.
yeah.
It should increase, but like who knows? I mean, there are countries buying into it. We'll see where it goes. I think you'll see a lot of companies start to shift into payments like that, whether it's Bitcoin or whatever else, and like we'll have digital payments instead of doing like a freaking ACH or like a bank transfer.
And dude,
They'll
Trump's all about it. So he's big into the crypto world.
Yeah.
So I think it's only gonna go up. People are only gonna start using it more.
Yeah, and it's a wild west world. I mean, it's cool, but I mean, tread lightly. So,
Yeah. Sean's
but
Sean's
it's
threatening
cool.
you guys.
No, I'm just it's a
He's coming for you.
I like that space because it's also learning. Like
Yeah.
you're learning this new thing. It's like the internet. Like when the internet came out, people started building websites and random stuff because it was like we're learning, we're tinkering. Like
Yeah.
there were massive opportunities, like people made great
Expensive
money.
tinkering, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a lesson. I mean, lessons to be learned, and I am cool with learning those lessons, I guess. We won't go into detail. I mean,
uh,
yeah, it's cool to see like all this digital stuff popping up, but I think
yeah.
for the film industry, I don't think AI is going to take over. I think it's going to help. I think there
Oh,
are
definitely.
things that will change. I mean, some stuff has already changed, but I think it's for the better. I think we'll still have people acting and films being physically made because if everything turns into animation and digital, like people are
Right.
gonna be bored with that.
Yeah. Well, it'll just like everything now is like we're going back to mullets. We're going back to like bell bottom. Yeah, like,
Yeah,
I think eventually people would start going back to storytelling, like real movies. People are My daughter now listens to records, and I'm
yeah,
like, holy shit. So it's like
it's
everything comes
tangible.
back.
People like tangible things, like things
Hmm.
that you can hold on to. Cameras, like being physically in a room filming people like acting like that. I just don't see it ever going away. I
Right.
just I think budgets will get cut back for like big films because they'll be able to do like VFX a lot cheaper. They'll be able to
Yeah.
do things where they're not like filling a whole room with a green screen.
Yeah.
Like some of that stuff will become easier. And I think they've started to do it with some of the digital stuff.
But I
Like
think, I mean, the good part about it is they would still hire the VFX company, but the
yeah,
company would understand how to do it all and whatever. They would just, instead of using a green screen, they use AI now.
yeah, because you need the operator. No
Mhm.
matter what
Right.
in AI, you're gonna need the operator, whether it's a banking system, editors, financial advice, you're gonna need some sort of operator.
Yeah.
I mean, they're starting to put like robots in fast food locations, but like you still need people there to like make sure things work.
Robots just fucking everyone up.
Dude, they have it. They have
Yeah.
this company, Miso Robotics. They're in like White Castle, and I
Dude,
think
I'll
Their
take them.
start their start going into, I think, like, Chipotle soon and some other places, and they're doing simple tasks, but, like, even, like, a McDonald's, like, they have one that can, like, flip fries and, like, flip burgers, so it's like, okay, this task that was once a person's thing, now that person can wait on more customers or, like, help with the space itself.
Yeah.
So I think I mean, that's helpful, but even talking about, like, going into all this, like where film is going, where advertising is going too. It's like Elena actually brought this up to me yesterday. I don't know if you got a chance to look at that Sephora Hulu thing.
Did she send me an email?
No, I sent it to you in this doc that we have. You said you read it.
Yeah, I did.
No, you didn't.
I did, I saw the actor one, I saw it all.
Did you watch the trailer of the Sephora thing?
Not the Sephora, I saw the Pat Flynn one. So I didn't see the Sephora one.
Dude, you made it down the dock like a quarter of the way.
Bro, I was skimming.
Yeah, you skimmed real well.
This robot thing, by the way, I'm at the website, and it looks like a giant 3D printer machine, and, like, there's a fryolator, and it's just doing things.
Yeah.
Like, it's a huge machine that they would have to buy, but it's sick.
But they'll start putting them in so that, like, not saying that people make more mistakes, but usually there's more human error. So it's
Right,
like,
oh, yeah.
if
Yep.
this thing can work 24 hours, now all of a sudden all these
Right,
locations are just like
24
operating.
hours.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Nope,
people come in to just like watch over the stuff and
and
deal
your
with
food
customers.
costs will be perfect because it's gonna measure everything out perfectly every time. You're not over putting something in or under putting something in.
Which food should go down in cost, but I don't think it will. But it should.
Oh, absolutely should, yeah, yeah.
But I think what will happen is these companies will just profit more.
Oh, definitely. Yeah,
So I mean, I think that would be the nice thing is if they could make food costs in certain restaurants more available. I wonder if you could do that with like farming too. Like if you do certain types of farming in like a closed location, so it's still like organic farming, but it's more robotic. Like, can you lessen the expense of food? Because
but
I
the
think
tough
that's a big thing right now.
it would be huge. I mean, everyone's in it for money. The tough thing is you're probably spending, hundreds of thousands of dollars on that machine, so you gotta make
True.
that back, and it's like,
Yeah.
what's the point of the machine if you're not gonna profit from it, if you're just doing it for other people? I don't know.
Yeah.
Everyone's greedy.
Yeah, I guess you can't cut like cost back too much, but I'm wondering if you streamline everything, if it cuts down on labor. Like if you
Yeah.
can move the 5 people that were doing this one task all the time to a different location or different, like you can open up more locations. That person becomes a manager instead of a fry cook.
Yeah.
And so now like the person still has a job and now they have a better job where they're actually just dealing with people and like, I don't know, and not just sitting at a grill or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. But going back to the Sephora thing
Yeah, my
that
bad.
you that you, that you
That I
didn't
didn't
read.
see.
Jesus. It's okay.
I'll
I'll
pull
tell
it
you
up
all
now.
about it because
Just kidding.
I haven't watched the whole show. I will say I've only watched the trailer. But Elena and I were looking through this yesterday, and it's interesting because Sephora, it seems that they paid for this 3-part series. So it's on Hulu. It's a 3-part series with 3 musicians: Becky G, Victoria Monet, and Chapel Roan. I only know Chapel Roan. Sorry for anybody who knows the other ones, but I don't I just don't keep up with all the music that's going on. There's just too
Yeah,
much.
same.
But it was really cool to see that this company, Sephora, is now kind of getting into film, but also it was a little tricky to watch some of these. Like we skimmed through some of the episodes. They're 30 minutes long and they're basically makeup tutorial kind of things. So the ladies would be like sitting in a chair doing an interview talking about like makeup and transforming into like certain things for being on stage for performances. And so they're talking about makeup. Sephora sponsored it, and the whole thing is watching them do their makeup or getting makeup done.
Dude,
And then,
that's a high-end production of what people do on YouTube right now.
but it's an ad that people will watch.
Yeah,
That's what,
and it's
so
30 minutes long.
there's 3 of them that are 30 minutes long.
That's very cool.
And it's
Wow.
a series. So it's like, where do you go from there? Like we talked about it yesterday. Like, do you start as a company? Do you start doing this thing where you're like, all right, we want to launch our new sneaker. So you get like 3 people who are well known in your brand already, and you do 3 episodes with the newest sneaker launch. And like the sneakers in it, but it's not like prominent. And you tell the story of this person, like where they grew up, why they got into playing basketball or football or baseball or soccer or whatever, and you tell their story, but it's very much around like footwear and feeling and like,
Dude, I mean, it's almost like the reverse of what a sponsorship is because you want the athlete, you want the best player to be on your team, but you want them to be wearing your shoes or your product, whatever it is. But almost as the product, now you're telling just their story with they have the product, it's just in the background or they're wearing it or whatever, but they're talking about like basketball, a new shoe comes out. So they're talking about, how they started playing basketball and how they got into it. And so I think that's very unique way of doing
yeah.
that.
And it's an ad that you'll
Yeah.
watch. Like
Wow.
what ads do we love on the Super Bowl? The ones that have a story or they're
Mhm.
funny and they have the company in it, but I think that's the future of advertising. I think we're gonna end up having shows where we're like, "Wow, I love that new show," whatever it's called, like Dancing in the Streets or something, and it's like sponsored by like Chevrolet. But
Yeah.
like you only know it's sponsored because they say it, but it doesn't feel like it. And there's all Chevys in it, but you don't really think about it. Like it's part of the show. It's
Dude,
part of
that's
the
that's a great idea from Sephora. We have a Sephora over in the Best Buy
yeah.
malls here.
I know to see,
Wow.
and that's why like when Elena brought it up, I'm like, it's incredible that a brand like this would take that leap
Right.
because but like Elena said, they represent a bunch of so like you go in the store and they have different makeup from different companies kind of under one roof. So it's
Mhm.
like they're able to so it's not just like a one product shop. So I think that's what helps.
But I mean, they must have had a marketer be realizing that all the makeup tutorials on YouTube and, like, everything that's happening, it's like, why wouldn't we try to pitch this as a three-part series, 30 minutes long, of essentially doing that, but you're telling the person's story as they're, like, using the makeup or something.
You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna attempt listeners out there, we're gonna attempt this. So it might not happen, but we're gonna try. I would like to find out who in Sephora was a part of making this happen
Mm,
because this is probably not something easy to bring to the table when you're like
right,
they're like,
to
"Well,
pitch.
what ad are we going to do next?" And somebody's like, "We're going to do storytelling with 3 celebrities. It's going to be our most expensive ad spend."
That's what I was gonna say, that's why it's also hard to pitch those because it's, full film production for
Yeah.
however long, you know what I mean? It's not cheap.
Although I will say it seemed like 1 to 2 locations per. So
Yeah,
like one of them that we skimmed through, she was like, I think it was Victoria Monet. She was like sitting in a chair getting her makeup done by a makeup artist and doing the interview. Same location.
yeah.
So like most of it took place there and then it would show shots of like her music videos and her performances from past. So it was a
And
good
then
way
I
to do
wonder
it.
how they get that footage too, like, do they need to pay for it? Is
Yep.
she providing that? Right,
They
so
need
that's
to
more
license it.
cost. Yeah.
So like if you're getting like Lollapalooza, like they used Lollapalooza for Chapel Roan because it was like one of her biggest shows, I think to date still, and the biggest show up forever for Lollapalooza. They use that footage and they have to get that from probably Live Nation.
Yeah.
So then you have to license that, you have to pay for it, and it's probably only for a certain amount of time. So
Right.
like this Hulu thing, great, that's on Hulu. Hulu probably paid for it too, and then it will get taken down because you can't just keep that footage going forever,
Right. But
which I
this
think
but this is also a good test to see if this actually I mean, an expensive test, but if it works, you'll see this much more from Sephora, but other companies will start doing it.
I think you're gonna see it. I think it's gonna happen. I think
Mhm.
we're gonna start seeing shows, and since you have to say it's sponsored, we'll see that more often, but I think you'll see, like, a new show pop up, and it'll be like a Western, and it'll be sponsored by whatever, Wrangler jeans or something, like, I think these things are gonna just happen because nobody wants to watch an ad anymore. Like, I don't
Right.
wanna sit there and watch an ad, and most of the, like, the makeup ads I've seen, they're like that Zidania, lady, she's, like, riding a horse through, like, the desert, and I'm
Yeah.
like, "What does" it's like a it's same with, like, a car commercial. You see somebody driving,
Just
like,
random.
the
Yeah.
newest Land Rover, and they're, like, driving over rocks and, like, ripping through the desert, and you're like, "That doesn't look like my commute."
Right.
Like, what the
That doesn't look like my daily commute. Come on.
but people are still like, "Yeah, I need that because 'cause I'm gonna
Yeah.
drive over rocks,
E
and
exactly.
Armageddon is coming, and I need a bunker with a Land Rover."
Yep.
It
You're showing what people dream about, you know what I mean? Like, that's
Yeah.
why you buy a Jeep. It's like, because 'cause I'll be off-roading all the time, but will you really be off-roading all the
No.
time? Right.
I know. I went off-roading, like, maybe 8 times, and I had my Wrangler, and I lived in Boston, and it was mostly just, like, I could pull into a spot, like, when it was snowy, like, people, like,
Right, right,
you
you
have to
get
shovel
anywhere.
your spots out. I would just, like, rip into a spot that, like, wasn't shoveled out, and I'm like,
Your car's, like, tilted on the
"In.
side.
I'm in, and
Yep,
nobody else is gonna take it. No
dude.
Toyota Corolla is gonna take that spot."
Yeah, I mean, I off-road with mine, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I think that's what it is. You in advertising, you sell a lifestyle. You
Yeah.
sell a feeling. Like, if you use this makeup, you're gonna ride a horse through the desert. But I
Yep.
feel like this Sephora thing that they're doing now is, like, more like,
It's a different look at it. It's
you can
creative.
connect with it more.
Yeah.
Like, there's, like, women out there that probably watch the music, and maybe men too, and they're just like, this is something they wanna follow because of these people that are using
Relatable.
this, yeah, and they're using Sephora, and so they're
Yep.
like, "Okay, this is where I wanna get my makeup from too."
Yep.
So, yeah, I think switching gears into advertising, um, the other thing that I found too is that Blind Director. That was from last year. Did you watch that
Mm,
ad?
with you guys. I didn't watch the ad with the link that you sent.
Jesus.
Bro, I only had,
So let
like,
me explain
20
this to you
minutes.
again. I know. I didn't Yeah, to be fair, I put it up, like, 20 minutes before we went live, so I get
Yeah.
it. But it's you should watch it after this. It's pretty, like, I mean, it's emotional for sure. So, like, I didn't see it during the Super Bowl last year, but this guy, Adam Morse, who Adam, if you're listening, which hopefully you are, but I mean, we only have 30 followers, so if you're listening, Adam, we'd love to have you on because we'd love to talk about, I mean, being a blind director. It's incredible. And, like, so watching the BTS, he basically shows how he did this, and, like, I think he's been blind since a young age, and, like, completely blurry, like, completely legally blind, but he is, like, directing this commercial that basically Google, they have this app, or, like, in I think it's in all their phones now, where it tells you, like, how many people are in frame when you're taking a picture. So it's like 2 faces in frame, so you're taking a selfie.
Uh,
So it shows this guy, like, he's hanging out with his wife, and, like, traveling and doing all these things in life, and taking selfies, and taking pictures of her, and it's like one head in frame, and so, like, he always knows, like, okay, this is a good picture where we are, and then it ends with they have a baby, and it's like 2 heads in frame, 3 heads in frame, which is, like, really great storytelling
yeah.
because now they have a kid, and it shows you, like, how he sees it, which is, like, super blurry, you can't tell, and then
That's
it
what I was
shows
gonna
you the
say.
picture.
I thought that was super creative, showing the blurriness of, like, what he sees
Yeah.
in the ad. That was really
Yeah,
cool.
and I'd love to get his input on, like, if he helped come up with the idea because of how he sees things or
Mhm.
how that all came to fruition. But it's cool to see. I think he was saying something about like he's the only person he knows that directs films that's blind.
I wonder too, like, that's a huge risk on the company who is paying for that. It's like, yeah, let me
Yeah.
hire this blind director to direct my
Yeah.
movie or my commercial for the Super Bowl, which I'm spending, $7 million on.
For the spot.
Right.
And then you
You
gotta
know?
pay for the production.
Yeah. So that's a big risk. I wonder, yeah, what the take on that was.
True, because that's also it's kinda like the Sephora thing. It's like who went into the office and was like, "We got this project. I know we're trying to do this, like, AI vision thing. I got a blind guy that we should have direct it." And, like, how many
Just
people in the
just hear
room
me
were
out.
like but
Right.
good for them for doing it, because I
Right.
think
Yeah.
and I think we'll see more of that in creativity and creative, like, productions, graphics. I think you're gonna start seeing, like, we should bring more people because they're all people and they all have creative ideas. Like, it doesn't matter if you're blind or you're deaf, like, you can still do creative things and you still have, like, an idea of what is tasteful. Like,
Yeah.
whether you're if you're deaf, you might be able to have taste with like whatever your vision is. But I mean, look at like Ray Charles, like
Yeah.
can play amazing music. Can't see. Like that's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
I think a lot of these people need to be given a platform and Google just did that. They started at least.
Ooh, let's look at that. People need a platform, and Google just did that for them. Didn't Ray Charles know how to play the piano before he went blind, or no?
Ooh, I'm also gonna get called out for that.
Yeah, I think he.
I mean, even if you could, you have to continue
Right,
to
right.
play
Yeah,
good music.
yeah. True.
I'd like to look into that though, because if that's true, it's still great that
He's
he's
like,
doing
it's
it.
still
But
impressive, but not really.
I don't know if I want to say it's not impressive.
No, it's
Ray
super
Charles, if
impressive,
you're listening, sorry.
especially his time. His
Yeah,
time frame. They couldn't do shit back then.
true. I mean,
So,
it's definitely and to be able to like have people believe in you,
mhm.
like you're blind and you're playing piano and like people are like signing you up
Y-
for like
y-
gigs.
you're
Like
blind and you're black back
it's
then.
true.
You know what I
It's
mean?
true.
Like that was not easy.
True. And he made it happen.
Yeah,
I mean, he's a good musician. He
yeah,
he I think that's why everything worked out so well. But it's
yeah,
true, like, back then, it's like he had both those things not going for him, and that's tough.
yeah.
Like, how do you get through that as, like, he obviously has a creative taste, so it's like, how do you deal with all of that all at once? Like,
He just didn't see color. Sucked.
this kid, holy shit. This is the comedy sector of the podcast? Oh my god, he's gonna do
I'm going to
stand-up
hell.
now? Jeez.
No, yeah, he's, I think him not being able to see, he just didn't give a shit. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't care what people thought. Because he was already it was already hard for him to, get through life. I think he just, like, did whatever, he wanted to do.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's a good lesson for everybody. It's like the more you just do the thing and like maybe care less about what people think. I mean,
Oh, 100%.
I know I have a problem with that. I'm like, oh, I don't want to put this video out yet because people are going to hate it, or
Yep.
maybe no one's going to like this, or we didn't really do as good of a job as we could have. And then you put it out and people are like, this is sick. We love it.
Yeah. Dude, I think it's so you gotta not care what people think and just put out, you know what I mean? Like, put your stuff out there.
Yeah. I mean, it's like our podcast. If we can do 50 episodes or more, I think we can hopefully trend a little bit and get this thing like rolling. Like, why not? Like,
Isn't that a
this
Ray
could be,
Charles song? Rolling?
I don't know.
I think it is.
Is that the one that's like rolling on the river? Is that it? Rolling,
I'm not I don't
rolling on.
I think that's like a woman who sings that.
Oh, shit. uh,
And I wanna say it's,
oh my God, dude.
Tina Turner.
Is it? Did
Yeah.
you just look that up?
Yeah, I did.
Damn.
Yep.
Well, does Ray Charles have a song called Rolling? You looking that up? 'cause you're the one that called it out,
I
and then you were
did.
snapping like I was singing the right tune.
This
You're like,
the
"Oh, yeah, he's doing it."
roll with my baby.
That's
Rolling with my baby.
yeah, see,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have started singing "Rolling on the River."
Yeah. Yeah.
Jesus.
Hey, you got a good catchy voice, catchy tune. Oreo's coming soon, so we're good.
Yeah. I know we're gonna start a band.
Opening for John soon for King Coyote.
We have, a month or 2.
Yep. Me, you,
Yeah.
and Elena. Actually, Elena is our keyboardist, our
Mm,
pianist, or whatever you want to call it.
yeah. So,
Can she sing too? We might need her as a singer as
maybe
well.
she can, she just hasn't told us.
Yeah, I think she
Maybe we'll
probably
just
can.
maybe we'll just be background dancers.
Well, me and you just dance in the background. She does everything. I'm with it.
I mean, I think it's one of those things, like, if you have I've always had interest in doing some sort of music stuff, and I was in a band in high school, and I think it's just I've always wanted to continue that,
Dude, that'd be
like,
so sick. I was never in a band. I wasn't
even to
cool
just
enough.
even to just try. I don't think it was about being
Yeah.
cool, like, our
Y-
band felt cool, but,
Yeah.
like, wasn't I mean, I guess it was cool because, like, in the school, there were only, like, a few people in bands, but
Yeah,
we
I mean, dude,
never
I played the trombone. You don't see band members playing the trombone. You know what
I
I
mean,
mean? Like
now
I
you
gotta.
do.
Well, now you do, but I
You
gotta play
should.
like. Well, Elena's already keyboard, so I gotta go like guitar. I gotta do something.
You're gonna learn guitar in 2 months.
Absolutely will. Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna
I'll
hold you to
I'll
that.
learn one song. That's all I
Okay.
need. All I need is
In
one.
So in 2 months before the show, you can play for us here on the podcast.
Oh, perfect. Do a little. I like
Y
it.
Yeah, yeah,
All
because
right.
you're gonna learn the guitar in 2 months,
I'll
no
do a
problem.
cover. I'll do one cover. That'll be our song.
Alright. You've
Done.
heard that here first, folks. Tune in 2 months. Dan
Shit.
will be, AI
Um,
proficient and a guitarist.
I'm with it. I'll learn AI and I'll just have like AI create me playing the guitar and playing a song.
You'll just be pretending, and it'll sound like you're playing. I
Oh,
mean,
perfect.
it still works. I mean, I guess
Exactly.
you learned how to play the guitar through AI.
Yep. I love it.
Cool. I mean, do
Awesome.
you have anything else?
No, this was a good one. I liked
Yeah,
it. This
this
was
was fun.
awesome. Yeah.
I think it's fun when we just come on here and shoot the shit. I mean, let us know what you think, other people or
No, I don't
anybody
even care what you guys think. This is
heard it here
we're doing
first.
it. We're doing it. This is
We
fun.
don't
It's
need
dope.
fans.
We don't need fans. We need no one.
We'll be
What were
here.
we just saying? We were just talking about you gotta give no shits, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? So
we'll be here whether you're here or not, fans. We're
very
gonna
true.
stay doing this. We're gonna
Yep.
do this, if you pay attention or not.
I
But I
like it.
think you should because some of the stuff we say, I think some of it's cool.